What's going on? Matt Savoca here from Awesemo.com, bringing you the wild card weekend Saturday slate FanDuel contenders video, a two-game slate here and a very good one at that. We start off with the Vegas Raiders going on the road to Ohio against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 5.5-point favorites as of this time of recording. Right now it's Thursday afternoon Eastern time, and then Saturday night, the rubber match, the third matchup between the New England Patriots and Buffalo Bills, and weather is expected to play a factor once again. Should be a great two-game slate. But before we get into this one, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you always know when we're going live. You guys know what to do. And if you guys could give me a follow on Twitter, that would be much appreciated as well. I'm at Draftaholic over there. We'd also like to thank our presenting sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is offering player props contests for all major sports and some minor sports as well. If you've got niche sport knowledge, you should definitely get over to Prize Picks. And Awesemo is running a bunch of promos right now. You can get up to a $100 first match deposit bonus, but we don't stop there. If you go to awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo, you can actually get a month free of Awesemo Plus Platinum when you sign up for Prize Picks today. So get started over there on the App Store, on Google Play, or at prizepicks.com, and make sure to use those special offers. Okay, guys, on the screen here, you see my 10 through 6 of my top plays for this two-game slate. Couple of Cincinnati wide receivers. Of course, we are going to mention Tyler Boyd, certainly third fiddle compared to Tee Higgins or Jamar Chase, but could absolutely hit their ceiling against a Raiders defense that has struggled all year. Up next is Hunter Renfrow, has a 36% chance of being in the optimal lineup, but with Darren Waller back, getting 9 targets last week, his ceiling and floor are a lot lower in this offense, despite Cincinnati struggling defensively as well. Then at number 8, it's Stefon Diggs. You know, the ceiling is still high for Diggs, but with that cold weather expected in Orchard Park, Stefon Diggs only in the optimal lineup 37% of the time. But the Bills defense is getting in there quite a bit. Again, we only have 4 defenses to choose from, so we got to pick someone. We're probably going to pick a favorite. Bills coming in with a 44% chance of being in the optimal lineup. And then at number 6 is Tee Higgins. He's had monster performances this year, and kind of trading off with Jamar Chase as the de facto number 1 option in that Cincinnati defense. The Raiders are basically league average in most defensive metrics at best, so I'm not surprised to see him scoring over 25 fantasy points in 18% of our simulations. Still, Higgins is just outside the top 5. Who makes it? Let's watch and find out. At number 5, it's Buffalo running back Devin Singletary, who is basically running away with this backfield all to himself. Now, we know Josh Allen is going to get himself involved, especially when the team gets near the goal line. Allen still has about 50% of the team's red zone opportunities over the last 6 weeks. But Devin Singletary is turning into the bell cow running back that we have always kind of wanted him to be. He had 21 opportunities against the Jets in Week 18, 24 opportunities against the Atlanta Falcons in Week 17, and against this same New England defense, he had 18 total opportunities, including 6 targets. Now, I've already talked about the weather being a concern in this game. It's going to be about 3 degrees Fahrenheit when this game kicks off, and it's going to feel like closer to -10 with the wind chill. So I expect the Buffalo offense to be a little bit below its ceiling, but they are going to need to rely on the run, where Devin Singletary should get the bulk of the workload. New England is no slouch defensively. They are ranked 3rd in PFF's team defensive grades, and so it's going to be tough for sure, but Singletary should get the requisite usage. He's coming into the optimal lineup 46% of the time. At number 4, Bengals receiver Jamar Chase, 8,200 in salary. You're getting up there, but I do think the ceiling is just as high as we saw in Week 17, where he absolutely destroyed the slate. 11 catches, 266 receiving yards. Are you kidding me? Yes, that is in the range of outcomes here. The Raiders are not strong as a secondary. They are a little bit tougher to pass against than run against, but that doesn't preclude Jamar Chase or one of these Cincinnati receivers from breaking out here in this fairly high total 49-point total game. So I do think Jamar Chase is warranted at that high salary of 14.5 median projection, and nearly a third of the time, about 30% of the time, he's getting 25 or more FanDuel fantasy points. That's fantastic. I am not surprised to see him coming in basically the same as Devin Singletary in the optimal lineup, 46% of the time. At number 3, Darren Waller. Darren Waller came back with a vengeance after not playing since week 12. In week 18, he had 9 targets, including 2 in the red zone in that overtime game. And yes, I know it took overtime in both these contests I'm about to mention, but that was the last time he had seen more than 8 targets in a game all season since week 1, again, an overtime game against the Ravens, when he saw a ridiculous 19 targets. Now, I don't think that is really happening here. You've had Hunter Renfrow come on this season. You have other role players like Zay Jones and Bryan Edwards and even Josh Jacobs getting involved in the passing attack. But Darren Waller will be the unquestioned #1 receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. And with them underdogs by over a touchdown here, or nearly a touchdown, you should expect them to at some point need to rely on the passing game, and that's where Waller comes in. A 12.4 median fantasy point projection at just a 6,300 salary. He's outperforming salary-based expectations at just a median level, and then the ceiling over 25 fantasy points in 17% of our simulations. That is just something you can't always say about a tight end. Waller has a excellent ceiling here against a secondary in Cincinnati that has been suspect all season. Not surprised to see him in the optimal lineup 55% of the time. At number 2, running back Josh Jacobs for the Las Vegas Raiders. And really, we have an opportunity here for Josh Jacobs to see 20, maybe 25 total opportunities. I mean, he's had 30 total opportunities in a game in his last 3 starts here. I don't expect that here. I don't expect the game script to really warrant Josh Jacobs getting the ball that much, especially with Darren Waller back on the field. But at the very least, I think he has 3 or 4 target upside on top of probably 15 rush floor at the bare minimum here. So you're gonna have to pay for it, 7,200 in salary, but the median projection, unsurprisingly, is quite high. We don't have a lot of bell cow running backs except for maybe on the opposite side of this game in this Saturday slate. So I understand if you want to prioritize the guaranteed touches of Jacobs, but it's kind of disappointing to see him only at a 14.4% chance of scoring 25 fantasy points. In fact, in nearly 30% of our simulations, he's scoring less than 10 fantasy points. I get it. It's really for a median projection, and in cash games, small fields, you can play Josh Jacobs, no problem. But I think in large field tournaments, you're okay fading him. Still, the math doesn't lie here. 58% of the time, Josh Jacobs is showing up in the optimal lineup. Now, before I reveal my #1 play on FanDuel for this special wildcard Saturday slate, just want to remind you guys, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you always know when we're going live. You guys know what to do. And if you could give me, Matt Savoca, a follow on Twitter at Draftaholic, that would be much appreciated as well. Also want to give a shout out to our supporting sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks, go over to awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo. You can get a month free of Awesemo plus Platinum. And if you do a first match deposit bonus, they will offer up to $100. Get started on Prize Picks today. Okay, guys, let's get into my #1 play on FanDuel for this Saturday slate. At #1, and it's not particularly close, Joe Mixon, running back, Cincinnati Bengals. And yes, you might say, well, Samaje Perine has kind of worked into the offense the last few weeks. Chris Evans was getting touches last week. Hogwash. It's playoff time, and we expect the Cincinnati Bengals at some point to be up and trying to control this game late. That's where Joe Mixon comes in. The Raiders are a run funnel defense, meaning it's much easier to run on them than pass on them. Not saying that the passing game isn't going to hit here for Cincinnati, but it just increases the probability for Joe Mixon hitting his median or even his ceiling performance here. And look at that median projection, 17.8 fantasy points. That's fantastic. That's the kind of player you want to pay up for in salary, and you certainly will at 8,500, but I think it's completely warranted. In week 17 when he last played, he had 20 total opportunities, including 8 targets, 6 targets the week before that in 24 total opportunities. In 36% of our simulations, over a third of the time, he is scoring over 25 fantasy points, and that's why 2/3 of the time, Joe Mixon is showing up in the optimal lineup. And that is going to do it for this Week 19 Wild Card Weekend Saturday slate edition of the FanDuel Contenders video. If you're looking for the DraftKings version, it's around here somewhere on the channel. Go ahead and search for it. We will be back tomorrow with the Sunday slate for Wild Card Weekend, all the top picks, and make sure to check out the YouTube channel all the way up to lock for all the latest information. Until then, I'm Matt Savoca from Awesemo.com. We'll see you guys next time.